Welcome to Destination Marriage, a podcast about successfully navigating the winding roads of marriage. Whether you're wanting to get married, newlyweds, or have been married for years, we want to share with you how we have navigated those winding roads over the past 20 years in our marriage.
Join us on this journey as we talk about real-life experiences in marriage and what we have learned along the way. We discuss love, travel, kids, friendships, and much more, all from the perspective of our lives together.
Happiness, love, grace, passion are things we all strive for in marriage, and we invite you to take this journey with us.
Welcome to Destination Marriage. Well, Happy New Year and welcome to episode number 54 of Destination Marriage. I'm Tommy.
And I'm Jackie.
And we are so excited for you to join us on our journey today.
Absolutely. So,
babe, we lost an entire month.
A whole month of our lives gone.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like December. What December?
So why don't we go back in time to the last time we were on this show, November 25th, right before Thanksgiving.
Actually, the episode went live on Thanksgiving, and we were talking about practicing gratitude. I remember when we were sitting up here last to record, the house smelled like Thanksgiving food already.
Indeed. And I was in process of burning and drying out my turkey ridiculously.
You know, I wasn't going to expose you with the dry turkey thing.
Listen, I know when I screwed up, and I screwed that one up. That was bad.
Luckily, we had a backup turkey, though.
Yep, thank you, Dad.
Yeah.
He had a fried turkey. It was delicious.
My father-in-law has the turkey frying down to a T.
Our dog wouldn't even eat mine. It was so dry. He spit it out. He was like, no, thanks. I can't swallow this. It was terrible.
I wanted to salvage it, but
even slathering it with gravy was unsalvageable.
Right. I don't even think you could have made a good turkey sandwich out of it, but live and learn. So, we were really excited at the end of that episode. And I think even prior to the episode before that, we were talking about, oh my gosh, we're going to go after Christmas and just attack all of these new holiday traditions. We're going to make cookies, gingerbread houses, you name it. I mean, I was all in
we
to the
were
point where
fully
you guys
decorated before Thanksgiving.
I had every tree up, okay? I started October 31st. I had every tree up by the first week of November, okay?
Patting ourselves on the back here.
Yes, I was like, oh, I am on it this year with Christmas. Everybody needs to just hold on to their Santa hats. I'm coming after it with the gifts, the cookies, you name it. I was going to do everything. But life had another plan,
Indeed.
Obviously, for us. So
thank you, COVID.
Yes, we got hit with COVID. And it was just a few days after Thanksgiving that we all started to feel just a little off.
The boys kind of felt off first, and we thought it was kind of a cold because their symptoms weren't, what you normally would think of with COVID as far as anything severe. It was kind of cold-like, tired. Yeah,
they were just tired. And then I was the first one of us both to actually get hit with it. And Tommy was at his office working. And as you guys know, I work from home. I had messaged him and told him, I just don't feel like myself. I think I need to lay down. Something doesn't feel right. Really just had a bad headache. And, it was only a few days where I just felt like maybe it is a cold. Maybe I'm just coming down with a sinus infection or, weather started to change. Because that week, actually, the temperatures had dropped. Remember?
Yeah, this weather's been nuts. It was like 70 degrees the other day, and it's windy and 36 and snowing right now.
Yeah. And yesterday was 70. Yeah, so it's all over the place. But, so I had been texting him just to let him know, hey, I'm going to stay away from my phone. And our youngest was still feeling really tired. So I had kept him home. He hadn't returned to his normal activities. He was home. But 3 days later, Tommy messaged me. Remember, you had messaged me from work and you said, hey, I don't feel so great.
Yeah, I don't feel good. I'm coming home. I was on my way home, I think. Yeah, it was. But I started feeling that tired and just kind of like something's not right here. That was Thursday. And by Friday, both of us were laid up in bed.
No, actually, remember Friday.
Oh, you felt better Friday and did too much.
I felt better. You guys,
that's right.
Here's the weirdest thing that happened. So Friday, Tommy's like laid out. I'm bringing him chicken soup, hot tea. And I was like, you know what? I'm feeling better. I'm going to go ahead and take the sheets off the boys' beds, wash them.
You did way too much.
I disinfected their bathroom. I did the downstairs bathroom. I was Clorox wiping every handle. I was trying to disinfect everything in the house. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm coming out of this. Maybe it's just like a few days. You feel kind of off. It's definitely not COVID. I'm okay. No fever, nothing,
that's right? I forgot.
Keep, bringing stuff
I
to
could
Tommy.
barely talk. I could barely get my head off the pillow. I canceled I was trying to work.
Yeah, and you thought you had strep throat, so he couldn't even drink.
I couldn't talk.
The hot tea.
Yeah, I mean it was bad. It was bad.
really bad. I've actually never, obviously with 20 years of marriage under our belt, we've been sick together before. And, you know, whether it's strep throat, and I will say typically Tommy gets strep throat much worse than I do. So I thought, because you had a hard time with the hot tea, that it was probably just strep, you know? And
certainly
I think
COVID was on the mind, right? How could it not be?
It was, but because you had some symptoms that were similar to
There's
your strep
so
throat.
many overlapping symptoms
Yeah.
to flu, to strep throat, to, yeah.
Yeah. So I think you thought like, I think maybe it's strep. And so I was like, well, I'm feeling better. Let's see if you feel better tomorrow, kind of like the same time frame. And if not, then we probably should go to the doctor. So here I am like Cinderella cleaning this house, mopping floors.
Cinderella?
Yeah. I mean, I was still looking like I had been sick for the past few days. I wasn't Cinderella going to the ball. I was still scrubbing toilets and mopping floors.
With no birds to help or whatever, mice to
They
clean.
were too scared of the germs in the house. They were like, I'm out of here, okay?
Their
I've got to prepare
intuition,
for spring.
they're like, I'm out.
Deuces.
Like a volcano's coming. They're like, they can sense it in the earth.
Yeah.
Kuiper household is sick.
Yeah,
Let's
they're
go.
like, roll out. So anyway, so the next day when I go to wake up in the morning, you're still feeling terribly bad.
Yep.
And I wake up, I go downstairs, and I'm like, I'm going to make myself some hot tea. I'm literally standing in the kitchen. I empty the dishwasher, get it loaded up again, getting ready to sip my hot tea, and I felt a wave of something's not right. And all of a sudden, my arms felt weak. My body felt like it was really shutting down. I laid down on the couch and
Stayed there most of the day.
basically my body was just like, oh, you thought you were getting better.
Hold on now. Yeah.
This has just begun. Like literally that was just the starter. It was almost like it was giving me a teaser the first few days. And then I think that was day 5.
That was that Saturday. And I was the same. Felt like I could barely move. Just so tired. My body aches were so bad that I couldn't get comfortable at all. Everything ached and something hurt when I moved a certain way. The heating pad sort of helped with my back and it was helping you, but man, it was bad. Like we've had bad flus, we've had bad strep. I used to get strep all the time as a kid, but as an adult, strep throat is much worse, at least if you don't get it, get antibiotics real quick if you let it extend a few days. So, I mean, I've had strep that's been...
You've had it really
bad, right? This was not the flu, right? And I knew based on our age, based on our health, what our sort of risk profile is. And, I'm not trying to be a doctor. I'm not. But I knew that like if we got COVID, it could be, who knows how it would be, but it
could go either way.
On average, it wasn't going to be like rush to the hospital, right? But this was definitely not your average flu. It was, we both had these odd kind of
really weird
different symptoms. Yeah.
And some of them mirrored each other and others were completely opposite of one another.
We both had chest congestion, really bad cough, body aches, headaches. I was running to the toilet at times, if you know what I mean. But you didn't have any of that. But a lot of people do. I mean, but then you had that like 3 days in a row of like almost 103 temperature.
It was longer than that. I actually had 102.8 fever. And I think it was 4 days of fever. And that first night,
up and down,
where I was downstairs and you were upstairs, where it really hit me and I got that really bad fever, I got scared at that point because, when you're not 10 years old with 102, 103 fever, it feels different. And I haven't had a fever since, honestly, I can't remember the last time I had a fever.
Right.
I don't get sick. I just don't. I never get sick. I think the last time we got sick, we both had strep throat. So Tommy was asleep. I couldn't even go tell him that I had a fever and I was on fire. I made it to the freezer to get these. We have a lot of ice packs in there because we get headaches. And I literally took ice packs out of the freezer and laid them on my chest and my legs because they were on fire. And my dog did not, by the way, if your dog doesn't leave your side, not only they're amazing and you should love your dog for just being so loyal, but it also is concerning to me that he wouldn't leave my side because he's never stayed next to me for that long. I think he knew.
He knew something. They do, dogs absolutely can sense that kind of stuff.
He's like, you need to go to the doctor.
Yeah. So Saturday afternoon, we barely had enough energy to drive, but we ended up going to get a COVID test, rapid test, came back positive. It was a weird moment, right? Because like for the last 2 years.
Well, they tested us for a couple of other things
Yeah,
too.
strep and all that. But like wasn't it weird? Like when I got that call, when I told you, it was like, yeah, we're both positive.
Yeah, actually, I think when you answered, you had her on speaker, and she's
That's
like,
right. Yeah,
it's positive. You guys have COVID. You did not test positive for strep or the flu, but you tested positive for COVID. And we were like, oh my gosh.
It was kind of surreal. Not surreal. That sounds like it's good, but it was so odd because for 2 years, all we hear, the whole world, all we've been talking about is COVID, COVID, COVID.
Yeah.
And so to actually be diagnosed with it is like, oh, all right, now it just got real, I guess, right? Let's see how this plays out.
Right. And also there was, because our symptoms were a little bit different. Tommy did not have a fever. So we didn't want to jump to any conclusions and think this is absolutely what we have, just because we had so many varying degrees of symptoms, body aches. I will say we both had really bad body aches, and
much worse than the flu than I've ever had.
And I always have multiple heating pads in the house. So we both had, I think we even have an extra heating pad. That was kind of my saving grace for a few nights. But I'm with you. I think I started crying. Didn't I start tearing up? Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, like as we started coming out of it, well, we'll get to that point, because I think that's what's really, in my mind, that's what's so odd about this whole experience is, yeah, certainly while we were actively sick, how much that sucked and like all this stuff. But it was the after effects that have been most telling in my mind. But before we kind of talk about that, I do want to give a huge, huge shout out and thank you to all of the friends and family that supported us while we were out. Because the boys were still kind of tired and they were lethargic themselves.
Yeah, they were still
while
feeling
we
off.
were sick. And of course, kids, they're not going to come in and hug on you when they know you have COVID, right? So they kind of kept their distance as well, and they were great. But we have a number of friends who are nurses who were, helping us and kind of diagnosing us, and
grateful for them.
Yeah, and I joked with one, hey, can I just bill you directly, or send you? Can you just bill me directly through my insurance? Do you take Optima? Just because it's basically we were getting telehealth from all of our friends that are clinicians, and we are so thankful for you guys really helping us kind of bounce ideas off of real-time symptom checks, because one of some of these nurses are actively working in hospitals and dealing with COVID patients, so they're getting ideas on protocols, and based on these symptoms you should do this, and
they're seeing it all the time.
Yeah, and then our families sent us meals and sent us brought over meals. It was amazing.
Gatorade, Pedialyte, toilet paper, like all the things you need when you're sick. I'm beyond grateful. And I started my thank you cards,
dinners and lunches. Yeah.
The meals, and especially like making sure that the boys had meals, because I do most of all of the cooking in the house. So like, it's just everything came to a screeching halt. So I'm very grateful. I mean, I started the thank you cards. I haven't finished them yet, but I owe them even more than that. I mean, it really means a lot. It really does.
So thank you, everyone. It
was
really nice. It was really heartfelt and genuine. And we, you kind of don't realize until like crap hits the fan, right? Like who your friends and your family that are really there to support you, who they are. So thank you, everyone, for all of your help. Even if it was just dropping it off at the front porch because you didn't want to come inside, and I don't blame you.
Well, I didn't want anybody to. I didn't want to expose anyone.
As we kind of emptied out a lot of pantries or a lot of dishes and Tupperwares, and I did a lot of dishes once we started feeling better to give them back to folks. But thank you guys so much. It really was so helpful in helping us get through all this.
Yeah, it really means a lot. Such a blessing.
Amen.
All right, so where were we in the midst of
what? So here's what.
I think you ended on diarrhea. I don't know.
Oh, I didn't even say that word. You had to throw that out there, huh? I said I ran to the toilet.
Oh, I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, but it's such a more sophisticated way of saying that than what you just said. I can't help it if I'm just, at a different level.
Were we really running? I mean, let's be real.
At times.
We were in so much pain. Could we run?
It was a painful jog. How's that?
It was a brisk walk.
It was a brisk walk. So as we started feeling better, the two things that I had heard this and read, I mean, of course we read you're going online all the time when you're sick, just kind of see things and understand better what to expect. And I'd read this, but experiencing it is what's different. Like the amount of sort of lethargy and not like I felt tired, like, oh my gosh, I got to go sleep again. This is, I'm talking about like once we're feeling better, right? Because we slept a lot. I'm talking about we started feeling better. Feeling just kind of blah and out of it. And then those kind of memory loss, that short-term memory loss.
You had foggy brain. Yeah.
Like I'd be walking somewhere, having gotten up from my spot to go do something. And then halfway there, I'm like, what was I going to go do again? It affected my work a little bit. Cause I was like, wait a minute, what was I supposed to do? Like, what was my follow-up, or what was my action item, whatever it was?
Like you were almost moving in slow motion. Times.
And then it would skip. It felt like it would skip, a page on my life. Cause it was like, wait, what? Like, it's really odd. And so you combine like that foggy brain with just feeling blah and out of it and just kind of, lethargic. It was, it sucked. It was almost, I don't want to say it was worse than that, but like it was a really odd after effect.
Yeah.
That at times, and even now, a month later, like I still feel a little bit of that.
Yeah.
And then I've had sour stomach is the only way I could really say it. Not really it didn't seem to be tied to anything. Yeah. Other than this time of day, which is just so odd. Not based on diet, not based on what I was drinking, anything. Just, my stomach's going to be in, I'm going to get nauseous here for an hour.
Right.
It's the weirdest thing.
It really is odd.
What about you? What have you felt?
I honestly think in no comparison, but since we did have different symptoms during actually the time that we had COVID, that was worse for me because having a fever for that many days was really tough, and then getting pneumonia. I was just going to say, I cannot believe I talked about how much better I was feeling and totally skipped over like a next major thing that happened to you. I'm so sorry. That's selfish of me. That's foggy brain. That's all. I mean, we were both in the trenches together. Okay.
And, well, you were in them longer.
And I'm grateful that you were there to really help me, because that was a different level of the struggle of breathing. It was my coughing was so incredibly bad. My ribs were hurting. I mean, it hurt. It was challenging I couldn't take a deep breath for a while.
So on a Sunday morning, we were monitoring closely your breathing, and one of our friends was, I was texting back and forth with her, like, okay, if your oxygen levels get to here and you're feeling this, go to the ER, But that Sunday morning we woke up and you could barely take a breath.
Yeah.
I was like, we're going to the hospital. Yeah.
You get up, you go wash your face, brush your teeth, just trying to go do that. I had to actually sit down on the tub because I couldn't make it back to the bed.
Hearing the shallow breathing scared. That was the only time I was really scared. Just,
I was scared too.
Other times it was, okay, these symptoms suck, but they're, you just have to fight through it, right? That was scary. Breathing, anytime you're breathing, you're messing with your lungs and, your heart. No, I'm not gonna tough that one out. That's let's go figure out what's going on. So,
right.
But the hospitals are not letting anyone even be in the ER in the waiting room with you.
Yeah.
So I literally dropped off my wife, who could barely breathe, at the hospital.
Yeah. So even though
that was fun,
right? So even though I could barely breathe and I was moving very slowly because I couldn't really move quickly, and I'm also carrying my purse and personal belongings. I'm moving slowly, and at the same time, because I can't breathe at that point, I almost had lost my voice completely. So I'm speaking at a whisper, right, with a mask on. So I had to get very close. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't speak any louder. Yeah. So I was trying to tell them what was going on and share my insurance information. It was just very challenging. But so I would say that was probably worse for me than the aftermath of when we actually had...
because you still had coughing, and that coughing, I could just see it in your face, how much it hurt every time you coughed. I felt terrible. But luckily I was feeling better, so I could nurse you as best I could, nurse you back to health.
Is an amazing patient nurse. You really are. And even when we were both like... I'm just going to share this moment. I hope you don't care.
It's out there now, apparently.
Well, I already teed it up now. Yeah. When we were in the throes of it, I mean, at this point, we're both laying in the bed, and our kids are like, waiting for some family member to drop food off in their own side of the house. We were literally laying in the bed and just I think maybe not even holding hands, just touching hands because we were in so much pain. And we were just we were just I think I was maybe even had tears and just rolling down my face. And we were like, this is just the worst. But at the same time, it was kind of a bonding moment. I mean, we went through it together.
I thought you were going to make fun of me. That's why would you?
No,
why would you
not
feel
at
like
all.
I would be not want the world to hear that?
Oh, because I didn't know. It's kind of a private moment. I mean,
we're kind of sharing some details
I don't know.
here. Watching you have pneumonia was hard, and seeing you cry, it was really emotional for you. It really was.
I cried a lot during that time.
I dealt with it differently emotionally,
and I don't normally cry when I'm sick.
Right.
But it really made me very emotional.
Yeah. So
and
just
because it scared me.
It scared.
The
I think
difficulty breathing scared me.
Yeah. But we came out of it. However, as Christmas approached and all of the things we were going to do, all the trips we had planned, we were going to go to New York and visit our grandniece. Is that how you
grandniece and your now
my
goddaughter. Congratulations on that.
Very excited. So the plan was to go visit and head up to New York. However, because of COVID, and then you were coming out of being sick, it was just too close, and all of New York is basically shutting down because it was either be kind of tired and uncomfortable in somebody else's bed or tired and comfortable in your own bed.
And I really wasn't, honestly, I wasn't where I needed to be to travel.
Yeah, it would have been rough.
And also be around the baby. I just didn't feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have wanted to be, unfortunately. I mean, I want to be around her, obviously.
Yeah. I just don't want to expose her to any of my germs with having had the pneumonia.
And potentially have like kind of an awkward, because I'm sure Chris and Emily wouldn't, they'd be kind of feeling awkward about it too, rightly so.
Yeah,
we would be the same.
Got
We
those
all
little
were,
baby lungs. I don't want to. I would never do that.
So, we ended up staying home and changing plans, but we both just, our energy levels were so low 2 weeks ago. It's amazing how much different it is now. But
and appetite. Remember, we were just
appetite
didn't even want to eat.
And it was kind of just kind of I don't even know how to explain it.
We were trying to figure out what day is it? When's Christmas? We
lost the whole month.
Losing so much time like that and really not knowing or being in your routine, and then just feeling so out of it. And then physically, I know we both lost probably some muscle mass.
Yeah, I lost about 12, 13 pounds. So, the appetite was terrible and just not really, it's almost like a heaviness over the home.
It does bring,
right? Because
because it's emotional. It's sad when everybody's sick. It's not lively, everyone's feeling great, and you're doing things.
We still had we changed it up and did a post-Christmas dinner with our family. And
Which was great.
It was great. We had a great time with everybody, and it was so fantastic to see everybody and just spend time together without any stress but still, it's just kind of a heaviness over the home that kind of that feeling of loss almost. It's weird. Like we literally lost the whole month. But
and it was supposed, and December is a big month for everyone. So for families that have littles, or we don't have littles anymore, but even still, our kids were excited about going up to New York, and the family was excited to see us. So a lot of things really. We even had two, which are still going to happen, 2 episodes planned with guests that were supposed to be roll out in December, and because I had to cancel. Obviously, because we started feeling off.
Couldn't even talk.
And I was like, I'm losing, my voice wasn't strong enough. So those will still happen.
They are still on the agenda for 2022.
2022.
We're excited.
We are.
And on that note, last year, I think our first episode of the year, we did our annual planning kind of summary episode, and we talked about what we do every year.
I love our annual planning.
Yeah, we're so excited about heading off this weekend. We're going up to Irvington, Virginia. It's kind of it's a sleepy little town, coastal town that has.
They're known for oysters and little
seafood,
fish and seafood spots.
A couple little really good restaurants and pretty B&Bs and just.
They have a small vineyard there.
Yeah,
it's really cute.
Right on the water, one of the rivers up in the northern neck. But we're so excited to get away and just map out our year. We're really got some exciting things in our careers and some exciting things planned with Destination Marriage and our family and trips and
a lot of good movement. And I think we're also going into the year this year, especially with more vision. Agreed. And we've kind of started individually knowing, obviously we both knew we're going to be starting the year off with our annual planning, but we both have already started thinking, get those wheels turning with our vision for certain aspects of the annual planning, what we're going to focus on for 2022. So I am ready. I am so excited. And I feel like because now that even more so that we came out of this COVID situation, and even though we lost December, I feel like we're coming out of it and we're like, oh,
raring to go.
It's on.
We got to make up for this crappy December.
We're ready to attack those goals.
So the next time we talk, we're gonna talk about our annual planning trip. As far as what we discovered and how we, what changed this year versus what we did maybe last year and years past. And then we're gonna tee up the our upcoming episodes. We're really excited about all that we've got planned to. For the podcast and our family and our careers and just everything in our marriage, obviously.
Yeah.
It's that's always front and center, right? Mm-hmm. It is. And I'm so thankful for you and that our marriage continues to grow and that we can weather storms, physical or emotional or financial together because we have such a strong foundation in our marriage. I'm so thankful for you and for all that you do for our home, for me, for our boys, for everything. So thank you so much, babe. I love you so much.
Thank you. I love you. And there's no one else that I would have rather
been
gone
sick
through COVID and dry heaving with than you.
You truly love someone when you're like, helping them with their throwing up and
he's still into me after
other
seeing me
bodily
look
functions
crazy for the last 4 weeks.
Yeah. Well, sweetheart, hopefully, knock on wood, that never happens again. But
right.
If it does, we'll be together and we'll get through it.
Sounds good.
All right, everybody.
All right, guys. We
Thank
love
you so much. Yeah, we love you. And we will talk next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode, and if so, please continue to listen and subscribe on Podbean, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. We would greatly appreciate positive reviews, and we will answer any questions at feedback@destinationmarriagepodcast.com. For up-to-date content and news about the podcast, you can follow us on Instagram at destination_marriage and visit our website at destinationmarriagepodcast.com. Be sure to tune in next week.